Good morning, Terry.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks. How are you today?
Good, good.
Hey, last night we had on another fantastic guest. I don't know if you watched Mac and Enriquez Jr.
Yeah, I did. I didn't get to see it to start with, but I got to see it later. And this I like this kid. My wife really liked him too. I
Yeah,
like
if you
his
haven't had a
attitude.
chance to catch that show, make sure if you're right here on YouTube, Horse Racing Radar TV. The young man is definitely, I mean, just 4 years ago, he was in high school, was going to be like a banquet server.
Yeah,
And now he's the 103rd leading money winner so far this year, Terry.
I know he is. Yeah, he's the. I love that description and what he was talking about when that horse, when he lost the stirrups on that horse.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that he took responsibility for that. Said, "Well, I've had a lot more to learn, and and a lot of that was probably the way he made it sound to me is he felt like it was a lot of his problem." So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely an upstanding young man that seems like he's got a really bright future. And, he also wants to help out some friends and other people in the community. If there was one piece of advice I would give him, though,
yeah,
is and if his mom's watching or he's watching, my advice as an older man, and I think maybe you might agree with me on this, Terry, maybe you wouldn't, I don't know, but I would kind of hold my cards a little closer to the vest in terms of saying I want to take a year or two off,
yes.
because in doing so, there might be some trainers or some owners that might be reluctant to really develop a big relationship with you on some of the bigger horses because they don't know if you're going to disappear.
Yeah, and I agree with that. When he said that, I thought, oh, you shouldn't really say that because you should just go on with your career and don't even think that way for now.
No, I mean, it's okay to think that way. Absolutely, that you're going to help people. But I feel like you might limit your opportunities because folks that want to work with you longer term might say, well, if he's not going to be here in 2 years, or they could question the commitment. Although I don't think there's any questioning his commitment. As I said at the close of the show, I feel like he's, usually we tell people good luck. I don't feel that young man's going to need luck. I think he's one of those people that's just going to make stuff happen, as they say.
That's right. He's a hard worker, they said.
Mm-hmm. So we made I forgot that I put that in. Yeah, I did. So we made some stuff happen yesterday at Thistle Downs and maybe just a little bit of different ticket construction. Really, that's the part that got us in the second half, the late pick four. Otherwise, we both would have had that late pick four at the end. Just a little bit slightly different ticket construction for both of us, and we bring that one home.
Yeah, but some of the good news is both of our best bets won. And I think our long shots both ran second.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. And you got that pick four to start with, which paid pretty darn good for $18.
Well, we paid a few bucks short of 300, so I'll be happy about that. And then a couple folks on Twitter mentioned that they had played it. So hopefully you took some of those winnings. We did see a few people head on over to Horse Racing Radar, horseracingtoday.net. They clicked on the HRT gear and picked up some stuff yesterday. So we'll start there, Terry. You're looking spazzy. Spiffy. That's the word I'm looking for. Spiffy. I'm the one that 11. Can be a little spazzy in the number 11. I got the number 10 on today. So we're in numerical order.
All
10,
right.
And 10 is on the back and 11 to my right. So we're in numerical order. Hopefully today we can. So again, if you haven't done so already, please support the show. The summertime's coming. You'll look fantastic. Go out and get yourself some horse racing 2-day gear. And we would appreciate that. Hola, buena dia to you too, Sebastian Hilago. Hopefully it's all well. Smashed the pick four yesterday. Yes, hopefully, Jay, we had some of that. Hello, Mike. How is everything in East Texas? I think I got that right. East Texas, West Texas. Sometimes I forget. I'm an old man. What can I say? I'm Jerry, when you start getting up to when you're younger and you're like you're on like the side road speed limit, like 30, 25. Yeah, you're not that old. But when you get on the Autobahn and it's unlimited and you're still like, I'm about that age.
Yeah.
Then you're getting old.
That's right. That's what happened to me. I'll tell you that right now.
All right. So today we're going to take our shot at Keeneland. And let's see. I forgot to put the thing on there, but I'll just type it in here today since I didn't put the sticker in there. Keeneland. All right. Here we go. I didn't put the picture in there, so I'm just going to bold this, make it green, and we'll make it There we go. Keeneland. There we go. Boom. Keeneland. There we go. Keeneland. So folks that are joining us will know we are doing Keeneland picks. Ordinarily, I have the nice fancy font in there that I create in Word, dress it up a little bit, and go from there. Today, no, we're not doing parks today, Jose. If you want to do, we do have parks picks over at guaranteedtipsheet.com. You can head on over there today too. And while we're on that conversation, Terry, Guaranteed Tip Sheet today over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. The free track of the day is Horseshoe Indianapolis. And let me tell you, when I'm putting the stuff into the back end, because there are all these track change names, these tracks changing their names, it really kind of makes that job a little more difficult, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine it does.
So we're covering a lot of the stuff that we kind of covered throughout the course of the day. Hopefully, I have all of our picks right because we're kind of last-minuting some of these things. So we're heading over today to Keeneland down in Kentucky, Lexington. Beautiful area. I mean, you look at that, when you're looking at the video and you see the horses running, it looks like a really beautiful country there, right? And it's kind of hard to imagine that, not too long ago. I mean, it is kind of long ago, but they're fighting a civil war in that area.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Race number 1, 7 furlongs. Terry claiming $10,000 for a purse of $32,000. Fillies and mares, 4 years old and up. Very simple in terms of the race. I keep forgetting the words. What is it called again? The race conditions. I always want to say, yeah, I don't know what I want to say. Characteristics, but it's conditions. 7 furlongs so far at this Keeneland meet. They've run them 16 times, 11 of which went to horses that have early speed, 5 of them going wire to wire. There is an inside 3 and 8+ bias, which outperforms 4 through 7. So you have a couple inside 3 horses. Starting off with number 3, just like me, Kitty's Promise.
Yeah, I like Kitty's Promise. She finished 5th in her last race at Keeneland after bearing out at the start. But despite that trouble, she received the highest last speed rating, drops in class today, and has a trainer who wins 27% of the time in claiming races. And then number 1, Ancient Brown. She finished 3rd versus Tougher in the last race at Keeneland. Trainer wins 17% of the time in sprints, and she may improve at a shorter distance. And then Princess Renee, my 3rd pick, number 5. She is a closer who comes in from the fairgrounds after winning a race and then finishing 6th. Only beaten 4 1/4 lengths in that race. In the last 2 races at 6 furlongs is what she ran. And now she's going to stretch out to 7 furlongs. And I think that's what she needs. Then I like number 4, Smokin' Hot Bobby. This one comes in from Turfway Park, where she finished 6th after having a really awkward start and a wide trip. But her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And the trainer wins 17% of the time in dirt starts, and blinkers are added today.
Well, I'm going to go with the inside 3 horses, just in reverse order. Number 3, Kitty's Promise, did run the best last race speed figure for this group, and going to follow that up with a drop in class and going to get a weight break relative to the rest of the horses in this field. Horse that I expect should be better in his 3rd start off a layoff. At number 2, Especially You. It sounds like, Mother's Day's coming up, so Especially You. I mean, that's probably more of a Valentine's Day name, but horse does have some of the top early pace numbers in the field. Last time out in the mud, showed some improvement in the 1st quarter and half mile of the race. A lot of times that carries over to the next race and can be an indication, too, that a horse is starting to reach peak form. Ancient Brown, the 1 horse on the rail. This is a horse I expect to be better in its 2nd start off a layoff. Does have some early giddy up and go out of the gates, and today cuts back in distance. So maybe shortening up is the key to finding the winner's circle. And then finally, number 5, Princess Renee, making their 1st start since early March. The last time the horse spent a little bit of time in the barn, came back to win. The time before that, finished 2nd by just a half a length. So it looks to me like this is one of those horses that responds well to a little bit of time off and then coming back, charged up, ready to go. Great. Race number 2, Terry, is 1.5 miles on the turf. This is those long races. They're kind of fun to watch, but I think this is a 3-turn race. Yeah. They start almost on the backside turn. They run down the front stretch, they turn, they go down the backside, and then they turn for home again. This one's an allowance $110,000 race with a purse that equals the condition there. For fillies and mares 4 years old and up, which have never won a race other than their maiden, a claiming, or a starter, or have never won 2 races. In the 1.5 miles, Terry, they've run 4 of them so far. I think I watched every single one of them.
Yeah.
All 4 of them, Terry, the horse was either first, second, or third at the quarter mile, at the first call, which I think that place is probably the half-mile marker. One of which went wire to wire. You've had 1 winner from posts 2 or 3, and every other winner, 3 out of the 4, came from posts 4, 5, 6, or 7.
Yeah, and you're talking about going 1.5 times around the deal. If you go to Ferndale, California, the last race and the last day is a marathon. It's 1 mile and 5/8. And
So they just like run around the track 5 times?
They go 3.5 times around the track. So it's really fun.
It's almost a NASCAR race by the time they're
It is. And what's funny is a lot of the people that go to those races, they don't go but during the fair time. And so when it passes the finish line the first time, they're all cheering, and then they all quiet down, and then they realize the race is still going on. So
and then they cheer the second time they come by too?
Yes. It's really fun. I love
So on the third time, they're unsure, and they don't cheer at all, and that's the one that ends the race.
Yeah, that's right. That's really how it works. So anyway, in this race, I like number 5, Federalist Papers, as my first choice. She finished third at 1.5 miles on a race originally scheduled for the turf, but was taken off to the dirt track because of weather. Today's race is at the same distance and scheduled on the turf, and she has done well on the turf in the past, as her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters.
Have you ever read any of those?
Read any of what?
The Federalist Papers?
No, I haven't. Have you?
No. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's like the precursor to like the Constitution and all that stuff, like where James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, the founding fathers were kind of expressing their thoughts about the new country and how it should operate. And it's like their philosophical approach. There's some pretty interesting things in there. Gives you some a little bit more like insight into why, like, for example, we have a First Amendment, Second Amendment, the Bill of Rights and all that sort of stuff.
Sure. Well, anyway, she has a really good trainer jockey combination that's won 3 out of 8 races, been in the money 7 times. And then I like number 6, Bella Chiquita. She won her last race at Turfway Park at 1 mile and 16th, but has a close second at 1.5 miles at Kentucky Downs, so she can go that distance. She has the highest last speed rating, and a trainer jockey combination has won 2 out of 5. And then I like number 1, Met in Miami, as my third choice. She comes in from Laurel Park, where she finished 5th after having a wide trip coming into the stretch. But her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, tied actually with Federalist Papers. And she has some pretty good workouts. And then number 4 is my 4th pick, 3, Tipsy Chick. She's going to try Keeneland for the first time and has a good 5 furlong workout of minute and change, 4th best of 17.
So we have our first 2 picks just flipped around in order a little bit. Bella Conchita did run the best speed number last time. I hit the highest number on that gun. It was the second start off the bench. Looking back at that resume, maybe she regresses a little bit here in the third start off the layoff. I still think minor regression would be good enough to get it done here. Federalist Papers, you got this is kind of surprising to me, Terry. So Irad Ortiz, right? Doing very well. Chad Brown. I mean, the two probably know each other very well from the New York circuit. And yet these two have teamed up together 24 times this year. They won 10 of them. And in the money at 19 out of 24. And I couldn't believe it when I saw this. You realize that they still have a positive ROI despite the fact that Irad is Irad and Chad Brown is Chad Brown.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. You wouldn't think that would be the case, would you?
No, you would think people would load up on it and would be a negative bet, but no, they have an 18-cent positive ROI. So I'm kind of shocked by that, to be honest with you. Met in Miami last time out, did show a little bit more interest for the first half mile than Met in Miami ordinarily does. And this horse typically not only did it improve last time out, but normally relative to the rest of this field, the horse has some of the best late pace numbers. So improving in the beginning, has the late punch at the end. Maybe today's the day she puts it all together and finds her way to the tape first. Finally, I'm going to go with a little bit of a bomb. Jared's got me on the bomb hunt all the time here, Terry. he's infected me with the long-shot-itis, right?
Well, I would have thought it would be Thomas, but I guess it's Jared. Huh?
Yeah, no, Tom. I don't. Tom, I think looks more for value, whereas Jared, I think, is looking for bombs.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah.
And so this is a Jared bomb. Number 2, Noble Enterprise, making its third start off a layoff. Last time out showed some really significant late pace improvement. Horse is probably going to be towards the back of the pack here, but will be charging probably the fastest of all the movers late. Maybe does it win like Tom says? Probably not. But does it have a shot to fatten up the exacta, the trifecta, and the superfecta? Absolutely. Good morning, Charles. How are you today? Establish federal government to oversee the states. If we not all dependent little countries, we would be the public states instead of, that's the Federalist Papers and all that. It's definitely some interesting reading in there to get some insights on the Constitution and all of the stuff that, the founding of our country, which I think a lot more people should probably understand. So if they did, maybe a lot of the stuff that goes on wouldn't happen. All right, Terry, race number 3 is 1 1/16 miles. It's an allowance $20,000 race for a purse of 51 grand, 4 years old and up, which have started for a claiming price of $20,000 or less in 21 and 2022. I think there's 2 races today on the card that are 1 1/16 on dirt. So they've run 25 of them before. 13 of them were won from off the pace, but 13 out of 25, it's almost 50-50. You only had 2 go wire to wire, so being on the front is probably a penalty. You do have an inside 3 bonus, and again, the 8 outperforms 4 through 7. So the inside 3, outside 8 and out are the best place to be. You're going to start off with number 4. Balling at budget or whatever it is.
Balling on a budget.
Balling on a budget. Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
On a budget. I get
on
it.
A budget. Yeah. It kind of a turn on the word.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, in the last race, Terry's 5-horse was his best bet.
That's right. It was.
My apologies.
That's right. That's okay. I know how that goes. Anyway, he finished in the money in 3 out of the last 4 races, winning 2. He comes in from the fairgrounds after competing in a 75K star guitar handicap, finishing 6th out of 14 starters, and drops back. But here he drops back into the claiming ranks where he has been competitive in the past. Then I like number 2, Bless the Kitten. He comes in from Turfway Park after finishing 3rd on an all-weather track in his last contest, and he's going to race at Keeneland where he finished 2nd in 1 of his 2 starts. He's going to return here to the dirt and offers some hope for improvement by doing that. Number 3 is my 3rd pick, Fortune's Full. He has been racing at Laurel where he has won last race and comes to Keeneland to try for the 3rd time to win. He's not ever won here yet, but his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then number 5, Heaven, my 4th pick. He has 1 start at Keeneland and won that race, so he's perfect there. Comes back to try and repeat. He improved while returning to dirt, which can help.
So I'm going to crack this race 3 open with number 3, Fortune's Fool. I don't have your 4-horse, unfortunately. Maybe because I couldn't figure out how to say balling on a jet, but I'm going to go with Fortune's Fool on the top here. Has the ability, I think, to stay close to the lead. And has some of the best extra late punch in his last. So I feel like this is a horse that'll probably be positioned very well, like probably right off the lead, 2nd or 3rd, and then use some of that late legs to get it home, and should be fit, firm, and ready to go with 2 maintenance works in between its last race and today. Bless the Kitten. This one is, I expect, to step forward in its 3rd start off a layoff. Looks like last time out, the horse ran a little bit better 1 mile final time than it did in its previous 1 mile race. And I've really been focusing more on these fractions because, again, when I read through my notes that we post over on horseracingtoday.net, show recap every single day, I find that when I look at the winners, I'm seeing faster fractions. Number 5, Hemp Haven. Terry, you like when I say this one. He blew a tire in his last race. He headed to the bench, so maybe, dinged himself up a little bit there. And then the last 2 times the horse headed to the barn and came back to run, he ran very well fresh, winning 2 of them in a row, one of which was at Keeneland. And then number 1, My Barrelet, has 3 seconds in 3 races at the distance. So, yeah, why not put it 4th, right? 15 furlongs of workouts since April the 1st. So yet another horse that should be in good shape to get out there and put in a good solid effort, because it's fit, firm, and ready to run, Terry.
That's right.
Next race is your long shot, Terry, in race number 4. It's also my Box It Up. It's a 5.5 furlong turf maiden special weight for $100,000 for maidens and fillies and mares 3 years old and up. So why don't you tell us why the 4 horse is your long shot? It wasn't going to be my long shot until I saw you stole it, so I switched mine off. But tell us why you like the 4, and then I'll walk us through my box.
Yeah, well, this horse is, to me, it's 15-1 on the morning line. I don't think it's going to end up being that, but her name's Troublemaking, and she's the number 4, as we said. She has the most experience of all the starters, which I think many would say 16 starts without a win. Oh, wow, I'm not playing that one. But she's finished in the money 100% of the time at 5.5 furlongs and finished on the turf in 5 out of 8 starts. Her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters, and the trainer wins 50% of the time when he puts blinkers back on a horse. Then I like number 9.
My turn now, Terry. Remember.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to go through the box.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Man. Go ahead.
I know no one listens to me. It's the same. It's the same phenomenon at home for me.
I'm just trying to steal the show. That's it.
Well, it'd be hard for you to do. Anyway, I also like the 4, Troublemaking. Last time out, if you look at those 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers in the past performances, you will see that they absolutely exploded higher. Now, I do have some concerns that maybe that's a peak race right there, but if not, as you mentioned, the horse has finished 100% of the time in the money, and at turf, horses run in the turf 8 times. It has 2 seconds and 5 thirds. So this is the proverbial gambler's fallacy horse. It is due to make those O's at the front of the list go. Number 7, Georgetown Road, had the top last race speed figure, and horses run 3 times, increased its speed figure in each and every race so far, and showed some additional improvement in the first half mile of its last race. Number 1, Charty Party. This to me looks like one of the better first-time starters in this spot here. It's a Wesley Ward horse, and this one is the one that's teamed up with Irad Ortiz, right?
Yes.
And then I'm going to go with number 11 as my next choice. And again, that's another Wesley Ward horse, except that one is teamed up with Johnny Velasquez. So, and I think that one of those 2 horses, if not both, especially at this shorter distance, should do exceptionally well. I expect one will blast out of the gates pretty hard. The Box It Up is 4 horses, $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. I think you had a trifecta yesterday, and I ended up with the exacta.
Correct. That's correct. So anyway, I like as my second choice in this race, number 9, Never At All. She ran second in her last 3 races, and the trainer wins 18% of the time when chipping in. And she has 2 good workouts in a row in preparation for this race. Then I like number 7, Georgetown Road. She has the highest last speed rating, a high percentage jockey, as you said, and her dam has 2 winners from 5 starters, and the trainer wins 17% of the time in sprints. And then I like number 1, Charty Party. She is a first-time starter, as you said, but her breeding suggests that she'll like the grass, and she has a trainer-jockey combination that we've discussed, who in the last 14 days have been in the money 5 out of 8 times, winning 2 of those. And she has a really good workout on April 23rd, 47 and change, 4th best out of 94 workouts. That's pretty darn good.
That is pretty swift, Terry, for sure. So today, are you still alive, Terry, in the contest with Sean and the Jockey Survivor?
I am.
Who's your pick today?
Oh, I have to look and see. I forget. Oh, yeah. Let me look here.
Let's see if I can find Terry Hollywood. Hey, you have Boca Chica today.
That's right. Boca
Uh-huh.
Chica.
Boca Chica. Gotta love that name. And I have Del Cid tonight at Vicente Del Cid over at Evangeline Downs. We're down to, I don't know, about 30 people left. Only 3 people or something like that got disqualified yesterday. So pretty small amount of people that got disqualified, Terry.
Yeah, that's probably because it was a Tuesday and there's not as many tracks running. So
yeah, either that or everybody picked the same folks, right?
Yeah, or did their homework or whatever you want to call it. So,
all right. So I was working on this last night. I don't know if you saw this on the show last night, Terry, but trying to put together a logo, if you will, for the Jockey Survivor.
Yeah,
this is what I put together. So what do you guys think about this? I created this last night on Photoshop for a few minutes. My first crack at something like this, Terry. So what do you say?
I like it, and I think you better get it. What do they call that? So you protect it?
Trademarked, copywritten.
Because there's a lot of these tournaments that do Survivor contests, and they're liable to try to take that. So you better get it trademarked.
I better get some money on there, right? For sure. All right, so let's see. Dominic says today, let's look at some comment. Dominic says that got to use the 12 horse in race number 4. I'm looking for breaking from the rail tough tonight for the first time out. Charles is asking, we have no love for number 5 Extreme Gen in the last race. Let's see. What was it? I almost pressed the wrong button there, Terry. That would have been horrible. So Extreme Gem is ridden by James Graham, coming in from Oak Lawn Park. A little bit of regression in that last race.
Has a really good workout. April 23rd, though, second best out of 35. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I do think I had, if I look at my my notes here, I think it was the next one up for me, Terry. I don't know about you.
Yeah, look at the 625K was paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, it was the next one up for me on my pick. So, I went with the 2 Wesley Ward first-time starters because I figure one of them is going to have a good race. Maybe not both of them, but I wanted to make sure that I had both in my tickets, so I covered the one that actually does have a good race. And then it wouldn't surprise me, though, if you see Johnny V do pretty well. And, of course, IRAD is doing pretty well there at Keeneland as well. So now we're moving off, Terry, to what are we on? Race number 5? Is that right? And race number 5 is your box it up. So let me pull up the box it up while I go through the race conditions, Terry.
Okay.
So race number 5, 7 furlongs, maiden claiming $100,000, purse of $55,000. Maidens, fillies, and mares 3 years old and up. We talked a little bit about the profile of a winner at 7 furlongs to open the show. You have 16 races, 11 won by speed, 5 of which went wire to wire. It looks like you either want to be inside or outside. Start them off and let us know all about your box it up, Terry.
Yeah, well, to start with, they scratched my first pick to start with, so I had to change. But I like number 9, Cocoa Puff. That's cereal, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody goes Cocoa for Cocoa Puff. So is the cereal better, or is the cold chocolate milk that's left better?
Well,
which part do you prefer?
The milk. I let I just drink the milk off, throw the rest to the kids. But anyway, she finished into the money in 2 out of the last 4 races, switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and she figures to improve while returning to the dirt. And the trainer wins 27% of the time when he takes a horse from turf to dirt. And then I like number 10, Jumpacan Bourbon.
It's Jamaican.
Oh, that's right. It is.
Jamaican, get it?
I do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she finished in the money in both of her career races, and she finished 3rd on an all-weather in her last race, and has the highest last speed rating. She tied with another one. And then I like number 1, American Heights. She comes in from Santa Anita to try Keeneland for the first time. She drops in class. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. She's actually tied with, I think, the number 10. And she has a nice workout on April 23rd, 36 breezing, 4th best of 21. Then number 2 is my 4th pick. No silver spoons here. She is a first-time starter whose dam has 2 winners from 3 starters and a bullet work on April 22nd of 1:01 breezing, best of 4.
Yeah, no silver spoons here either, Terry. Unfortunately, people complain about trust fund kids and stuff like that. You know what? I would have been happy as hell to be a trust fund kid.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You may have won the genetic lottery, but hell, I wish I would have done the same, right? Anyway, so I'm going to start off too with no silver spoons here as well. I'm going to say, looking at this race, I thought it was kind of wide open, and I think you might have an emerging jockey trainer situation with this group here, because you have Flavien Prat coming in from the West Coast.
Yep.
And now he's teaming up with Brad Cox. Probably not a combination that worked a whole lot together, unless Brad maybe had some horses out on the West Coast. But together so far, they've run 10 races together, Terry. And they won 4 of them. So I'm sure that any trainer would be glad to have a 40% win rate with any jockey. In the money, 6 out of 10. So pretty much, heavily tilted towards the win side. But here again, interestingly, Cox, one of the better trainers. Flavien Prat, clearly one of the better jockeys. You put the two together, you'd expect a negative ROI, right?
Yep.
They make almost a buck positive, 98 cents. But I'm going to pay attention to the odds board on no silver spoon here, because if you see the horse take some money in, that's going to tell me that the folks on the ground think it's really live. And if the horse doesn't really take any money in, maybe I'll back it up a little bit behind number 9, Cocoa Puff. This one's upgrading to Irad Ortiz. It's going to flip from turf to dirt, which is a 27% angle for trainer Keith DeSormo. And last time out, the horse was better by about 1 second at 1 mile on the fairgrounds turf. So it's an indication to me that Cocoa Puff might be ready to put together a good race here. Number 11, West Love. This horse is getting Lasix for the second time. Trainer Ben Colebrook hits at 22% the second time a horse gets the dose of Lasix. Showed some nice improvement in the second race compared to its debut, and is taking a little bit of a class drop here as well. So you got improvement, class drop. And then number 1, American Heights, shipping in from Santa Anita, making the first start for trainer William Morley. That's a 20% angle for Mr. Morley, and he wins at 24% when he ships a horse in. I would have liked to see the horse working at Keeneland. Instead, it's been working at Churchill Downs, but those workouts at Churchill Downs have been pretty good. And that also race number 5, while it's your box it up, it's also the Race of Death, Terry.
Yes.
And the Race of Death is where you connect the first pick 4 to the second pick 4, and our first pick 4 is the hot dog pick 4 today, Terry.
That's right.
So you went a little bit, well, first of all, your math was wrong earlier in the day, but all right, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, I changed it. Anyway, I singled the 5, and then in the third race, I used the 4 and a 2. The fourth race, I used the 4, 9, 7, and 1. And in the fifth race, I used the 1, 2, 9, 10, and 12, I believe.
So Charles is looking at a daily double today. His best bet for the day, looks like races 5 and 6. So in race number 5, Charles is going to roll with the 1 horse. He says that American Heights in race number 6 is going to win for fun today, Terry. What do you think of that?
He says 5, race 5.
He said the 1 horse today, yeah. In race number 5, American Heights, the 1 horse is going to win for fun.
Oh, okay. So,
well, let's hope he does. I mean, he's in your box it up, right?
He sure is. Yeah,
absolutely. And he's unfortunately didn't make my. I'm probably going to regret not putting him in the pick 4. But I got one yesterday, so I get a mulligan today if it doesn't work on the hot dog pick 4.
You do.
Yes, indeed. Race number 5, Terry. Today we're off to race number 6 today, which is going to be my best bet. This is 1 mile on the turf. All allowance race of $120,000 for 4-year-olds and up, which have never won $10,000 twice, other than maiden, claiming, starter, or which have never won 3 races at a mile and a 16th on the turf. They have run 12 races. It's been a very fair distance because 50% won with some speed, 50% were off the pace, but absolutely none of the 12, Terry, managed to go wire to wire. Absolutely none of them have won from the rail. And then if you look, 4 through 7 is greater than 2 and 3 and 8 plus. So most of the winners come from the middle. But with only 12, with only 12 races, really can't put a whole lot of faith into that data. I'm starting out with number 9, Floriform. This horse, since switching to grass from dirt, is no more than a couple of lengths from being undefeated in 4, 2 wins, a second and a third. This is dropping from a grade 3 race at Tampa Bay Downs. You also like Floriform as your top choice.
I do. Yeah, I like him because he finished in the money in his last 4 races, finishing third versus Tougher in the last race. Drops in class today and has a trainer-jockey combination in the last 14 days have won 50% of their starts. And then I like number 6, Lebanon. He finished in the money 100% of the time. And during the races in 2022, won one of those races. He finished second on an all-weather track last race with Smokin' Joe Talamo in the irons, and Talamo returns to ride again. And then I like number 5, Skyro. He finished in the money in 4 out of the last 5 races. His highest last race speed rating, and the trainer wins 23%. He has the highest, and the trainer wins 23% of the time on a third race off of a layoff. So, and then I like number, and I'm I've kind of lost track here. So,
all right. So you were on number 12, but I'll go through my picks. Race number 6. I like Floriform as my top choice, as I mentioned, best bet. Following that up with number 10, Manishin, I guess, yes. Second by a neck in its last start, which was the first run since late November. So a horse should be a little bit better shape this time around. Won its last race at Keeneland and its only race at Keeneland, which also happened to be a second start, except being a second start off the break. It was the second career start, so one after debut. Number 1, Cellist. This is a horse I expect to be well positioned in terms of the race setup in the middle of the pack, probably, and the horse has some really good late run. At first I kind of like that Tango, and then the Cellist entry, but they scratched the Tango, and this one is absolutely the Terry angle, right? They scratch one because the trainer likes the other one better.
Yeah. I didn't actually do that this time. So,
and then finally number 11, which was a tough call for me over number 5, Skyro. Yeah, but I'm going to go with the 11. Point Me By. This horse has not raced since February the 19th, but I mean that's not all that long ago. But it's put in 26 furlongs of workout since then. So unquestionably, the horse is going to be, as I say, fit, firm, and ready to go. And most of those workouts have been really strong at Keeneland. So the horse seems to have an affinity for the track.
Yeah, and then my 4th pick, I'm going to go back to that Palazzi. Mm-hmm. I like that race February 10th, which was 1 mile and 16th on the turf. And he ran 4th by only beating a length and a half. So anyway, he has a really good workout April 16th, 59-1 on a muddy track, best of 14. And, this horse used to run in grade 1s all the time. So it's
got some back class.
Yeah, and it also changed jockeys to Florent Giroux and Mark Cassie trains him.
So here we have Charles talking about a carryover in the pick 6 today. He's got his play. And when Charles speaks, you better listen. He is, as I've said, the E.F. Hutton, dating myself once again. But in race number 3, Charles is going with the 3. In race number 4, he's going with the 1, 4, 5, and 11. In race number 5, he's going to solo on that 1. American Heights going to win for fun. Then 9, 11, and then he's going to solo up the 5. And like Terry in race number 7, I have the 5 third. Mm-hmm. And then he's going to bring it home with the 4, the 6, and the 10 in the last leg. We actually put together, he says Tango was better. They're saving him for Friday for closing day. Okay. So the we put together pick 6s too, Terry and I. And they're a buck at Keeneland too. So
they are.
You have to be a little bit more judicious with your selections than you do at some of these other tracks that do them for 20 cents.
Yep.
Tonight, we started to talk this evening, started the show talking about Mac Enriquez Jr. over at racing at Laurel Park. But tonight we have on, so he's kind of a newcomer to the business, right? Started in 2018. And tonight on the show with Sean and our special guest will be joining us too is Eddie C. We're going to have somebody that most everybody's probably familiar with if they've watched some of the bigger races. Donna Brothers is going to join us this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to ask Donna a question, see what she has to say about her role at NBC, what it's like to run up next to the folks on the horses and do those interviews. I always thought, that's got to be a fun job. But
yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm excited about it because I've always liked her. She's good.
So that will be on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Horse Racing Radar TV with Sean and I for Horse Center. Make sure you tune in for that so you don't miss it. You can go ahead right now and subscribe to our social media sites on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, or Instagram. The handle's all the same. Horse Race, the number 2 day. So Horse Race Today. And of course, while you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell. If you like what you saw, please thumbs up on Facebook. Like us, like Jay Marco, Mike Watkins, and Alvaro David Saavedra Cespedes did. We appreciate the love on YouTube and on Facebook. As I've said before, it helps us with the algorithms. The better our ratio is, the higher we go in the search results. The more we go up in the search results, the more folks find us.
That's right.
All right, Terry. So now we're off to race number 7. Only 2 races, only 8. Kind of interesting to me today that you had a couple races at Keeneland with only 5 horses on the field. But this is the second race at 1 1/16, claiming $50,000 for a purse of $54,000. This one, the only condition is got to be 3 years old, Terry.
That's right. And I liked number 5 to start off with, Silent Disco. She has finished in the money in 3 out of her last 4 career races, winning one of the races and finishing 3rd versus similar in the last race. Then I like number 3, Down Cold. She is trained by Steve Asmussen, has a jockey Tyler Graffione, and has a couple of decent workouts. Then I like number 1, Bureau. She may improve while returning to dirt, trying Keeneland for the first time. Then I like number 4, Maximum Impact. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and she has been working out steadily for this race.
I have a little bit of a different take on top, Terry. We do like the 3, the 5, and the 1. I'm going to put the 2 horse up in there. Expensive Cut. The horse does have the top last race speed figure, and it's carrying this. This is one of those 5 horse fields, so it is carrying 7 pounds less than any other horse in this field, and then the other 4. Last time out, the horse ran faster fractions at 7 furlongs than it did at 6.5 furlongs. Does have a nice maintenance workout in there between this last race and this race today. But as I was looking through the pace here, none of these horses really want to be on the front. So I think you're going to find Expensive Cut being the reluctant pace setter. If not, the 5 horse, I think, will be probably the pace setter, but it's my 3rd pick. Down Cold is the 2nd selection for me. Number 3, slightly better across the board last time out in terms of its 2 furlong, half mile, and stretch pace numbers, but does have 10 furlongs of workouts since that March 23rd run. So the horse should be fit, firm, and ready to go, my man. Silent Disco is the 3rd pick. That's the solo over there in Charles's pick 6 number. Our friend of the show, the trainer of Barber Road in the Kentucky Derby, John Ortiz, runs this one. Last time out, the horse did show some considerable improvement in the first half mile of the race. And since then, our friend John has put 16 furlongs of workouts into this horse. Number 1, Bureau. This one on its limited resume says that it'll be better in the second start off a layoff. I do think that the 2, the 3, and the 5 are likely, in my opinion, to produce the winner. Terry thinks it's going to be the 5, the 3, and the 1. And then we move off. Let's see what Charles says here. Also playing a daily double with my singles into the next race. We'll talk about this in a minute. Saturday and Sunday was shipping day at Keeneland. That could be why small fields. Yeah, it could be too wild. And I imagine a lot of jockeys are getting ready to get up to New York, too, for Belmont, which kicks off tomorrow. And Terry and I will be doing Belmont Park tomorrow on opening day. So that should be a lot of fun, too, right?
Yep.
You have absolutely nothing working, no recent history or track bias or anything like that to work off. So makes it a little bit more fun. All right, last race of the day today at Keeneland is a mile on the turf, a maiden $100,000 race. This one's for maidens, fillies, and mares, 3 years old and up. My long shot here for the day, Terry, is number 10, Diva. Ready? Decent workouts, getting ready for the spot. It's the first time starter. But what's interesting to me is the 12 horse is a contender, I feel like, looking at the morning line odds. And Luis Saez, who wins a lot of jockey titles wherever he goes lately, decides to get off the 12 to ride the first time starter, the 10. So I trust his instincts on a horse there. And then you look at trainer Jonathan Thomas at Keeneland. He hasn't run very many of them at this meet. He only ran 7 times out, managed to get 2 wins and 4 fourths. So 6 out of 7, he put his horse first or second. I got a funny feeling that there's a reason why Luis Saez got off the 12 to get onto the 10.
Yeah, there's probably a pretty good reason. So anyway, number 5, American Pyramids, my first pick. She ran second versus similar on the dirt in her last race and has a trainer who wins 25% of the time when he enters a horse for the first time on the turf, and a sharp 4 furlong workout, 47.4, best of 8 42s. It was the 8th best of 42. And then number 4 is my second pick, Spare Cash. I wish I had some of that.
Anyway, you got more than, man. It's falling out of your pockets, man. Who are you kidding, man?
Anyway, she ran second in her last race on an all-weather track, has the highest last speed rating. She has a high percent winning jockey, and a trainer who wins 31% of the time when he brings a beaten favorite back to race again. She should improve with the shorter distance. Then I like number 9 as my third pick, Saffron Moon. She finished third versus similar on the dirt in her last race, has a dam who has 1 winner in 3 starters, no turf winners though, and has a high percentage winning trainer. Then I like number 1, Under One Sky. She ran 4th in the race at Kentucky Downs at today's distance on the turf, and the trainer wins 20% of the time when taking a horse from dirt to turf, and she may improve with Lasix being added today.
So, Charles, we're rewinding a race here to race number 7. It looks like Charles says Scott Hazelton, the TVG talent, who's also been a guest on the Players Edge podcast. He says that Scott Hazelton loved the 2 win place show, his best bet of the day in race number 7. So, I always know there's people in my computers. Now it's Scott Hazelton too, right?
That's right.
So, Charles says my long shot is race number 6 in race number 8 today. Neither one of us have that one, right? Bring home the pick 6, playing 4 and 10 defensively. So for me, I told you why the 10 is my long shot of the day. Actually, number 6, Robin's Fantasy, was the one right off after the 12 for me. And I even mentioned that it's a tough call between the 12 and the 6 for me. So I'm going to go number 4, Spare Cash. This horse is making its 3rd start off the break. Last time out was the favorite. Brad Cox has a lot of those. Unfortunately, 300 of them or so missed as the favorite in the last year. But he rebounds at 31% the next time around the track with the horse that disappointed as the chalk. And despite disappointing as the chalk, ran much better fractions in its last race. American Pyramid, number 5, 2 solid races. Now it's going to flip to from dirt to turf, which is a 25% winner for trainer Wayne Catalano, who's from my parts. Made his I remember going to see races at Arlington and Wayne Catalano on the turf. You always wanted to bet Wayne on the turf here in Chicago. I don't know that's going to carry as well from Arlington to Keeneland, considering the level of competition, but absolutely he knows what he's doing on the turf. He's had a nice workout since his last race. And then, as I mentioned, it was a toss-up between the 12 and the 6 for me. I'm going to go with Honeycomb. Major bump in her speed numbers in her first race on turf. Been on the bench since, so maybe the horse really likes that grass. 21 furlongs of strong workouts getting ready. And I love to see her hoofs, because if you remember when we had Maggie Woofendale on, she mentioned that horses have 2 different kind of foot angles. Yeah. One that's kind of flat and one that's kind of angled. She said the ones that have the angled feet tend to run better on turf. So
yeah,
take a look and see in the paddock if it has angled feet between the 12 and the 6.
Yep.
So Charles put up his pick 6 of the day. So Terry and I, we went ahead and we did a pick 6 as well. We didn't spend as little as Charles did. We both kind of went a little bit deeper. I didn't realize, Terry, that it was $1 when I went and did it. Otherwise, I would have put some bigger restrictions on us. But I said, Terry, we have to have at least one single. We both have 2 singles. And interestingly, we both singled the same race, but with different horses.
That's kind of funny, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed funny. But both tickets worked out to be $96. Hopefully, one of us brings it home. You know what'll happen is the 2 will win race 7 and the 4 will win race 3, and we'll have everything else in the middle.
That's correct. Yeah.
And then lastly, our hot dog pick 4 is at the end.
It's a
prime rib. Even though Terry tried to get away in his email notes to me that he was only using $96, he's really using $100. I'm using $100 as well. Again, we're both too deep in the same leg. So hopefully today our ticket construction in the prime rib pick 4 is as good as it was yesterday in the hot dog pick 4. Again, here are our full card picks. Box it up. Terry's race 5. I'm race 4. $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. Our hot dog pick 4s. Terry's leaving it all on the line in race number 2. Our prime rib pick 4s. And then our pick 6s at Keeneland today. And I think that's it, Terry. Any other final thoughts before we cash out of here today?
No, just it's crazy when you get those scratches and you don't look at them till too late, and you rush around and you make all kinds of mistakes. But hopefully you don't do that when you bet these horses. No. Hey, I hope everybody has a great day at Keeneland if you're betting there. And Charles, I look forward to playing some of your picks because you do a really good job. You all should go give your loved ones a big hug and have a great week.
Charles, I don't know if you spend any time up in Saratoga, but we're going to head out there probably for the 4-star Dave. So if you want to catch up with us, the Horse Racing Today crew, it's going to be Terry, Tom, myself, Sean. Right now, tentatively, or at least not tentatively, but we're putting it into motion, a trip out to Saratoga for the 4-star Dave, which I think is August the 13th, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Somewhere around there that weekend. It's the weekend after the big race. So make sure if you want to say hello to us, you meet us out there. And then one thing we did forget today, Terry, you almost never let me forget this, Parks. Early on in the show, we were asked for some Parks tips. Parks' best bet today for Terry is in race number 8. How did your best bet do yesterday? Where was it? Turf Paradise, right?
Yeah, it was. And it didn't do as well as I had hoped. Yesterday, my first choice didn't get in the money, but my second choice ran second and paid $6.60 to place and $4 to show.
Harry Hernandez pick. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Third pick didn't get in the money at all either. So anyway, today at Parks Racing on the race number 8, I like number 6 o'clock Sarah. She tried optional claiming 50K in her last race, running an average race, but now she drops back to the $25,000 claiming race, and she'll be very competitive, I think, in it. With the shorter distance will help her. She is trained by high percent winning jockey Jamie Ness, trainer, and the jockey is Ruben Silviera. And then number 8, Seafret. She has plenty of speed and finished in the money in her last 3 races, winning one of the races. Has a high percentage winning trainer Louis Slender Jr. and a high percentage winning jockey Frankie Pennington, who actually was one of my jockeys that got me through in this contest. Unfortunately, number 9 I saw just a little bit ago was scratched. So
I don't ice cold exacted. Then we're looking at, right?
That's right. No,
absolutely.
No third pick for me.
Good luck to you today, Charles, as well. Hopefully, we do bring them home on both the front and the back, and in the pick 6. I'll be going good with that. Thanks, Nick. Best of luck to you today as well. And every day, of course. Obviously, we hope that everybody has a fantastic day at the track. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Charles, everybody else, Nick, and those who comment. We appreciate any comments, any insights, any thoughts, any inside tips that you might have from knowing folks at the track. They're always helpful, too. All right, Terry. So that does wrap up today. We certainly hope that everybody has a fantastic day. Make sure you check out Donna brothers tonight over at Horse Racing, our Horse Center show with Sean at 8 p.m. Tomorrow we'll be on with Matt Dinnerman at 9:30 p.m., the track announcer from Golden Gate Fields. If you're going to be at Golden Gate on Saturday, you can make sure you catch up with Terry and Honey Bunny. You'll see him there for sure.
Yeah.
So say hello to Terry. And of course, between here and there, and then on Friday, Tom and I are going to do Newmarket, which I guess has some big races there. We'll have a guest in from England who specializes in the English horse racing as a handicapper. So that should be a fun show too. So always lining things up, and we're working on some other stuff in the background that hopefully will bring some more content to horseracingtoday.net as well. All horse racing stuff, tailored to the horse player. All right, Terry, we hope everybody has a fantastic hump day, and that your day, your picks, and everything else you do ends up at our good friend Jay Marco's
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic Wednesday.